Hi, my name is John, and I'm currently sitting in the cockpit of the PMDG777. They recently released a service pack for it, which contains many new features, including a weather data link option. This weather data link allows you to get weather data like the cruise forecast or the descent forecast, as well as the weather data for alternate airports directly into your CDU. This simulates a dispatcher sending you this data from the airline operation base. And to do this, you have to create a weather file, and you can either do this manually by using programs like FSX, or you can let ActiveSkyNext do that for you. And with some setup, you can make this process fully automatic so that you don't have to worry about anything. And to do that, we will just make some small options in the CDU first. So here we have the CDU, and we want to go to the PMDG setup, to the options, and to the simulation options. And there we want to go to page 7. So let me zap through the pages, and here is page 7. And this is the line we're looking for, FSX plan file for weather. And by default it's set to not create a file, but we will set it to create a file and load to FSX. And this will automatically, once a route is entered into the CDU, create a vx.plan file into your documents folder. And I also want the alternate airports to be included into the file, and I will later show you why. Okay, and this is all you have to do within the 777 for now. We just have to make a small option in ActiveSkyNext, and we will be right back. Here in ActiveSkyNext, we go to the settings, general options, auto load sunlight or flight plan, and we want to tick that box, and this allows the communication between 777 and ASN. And whenever you create a route within the 777 CDU, it will automatically get transmitted to ASN once you went ahead and requested the weather forecast for either the route or the descent. And because you have done that, you don't have to enter the flight plan manually into ASN. It will do that for you. You just have to request a forecast. And that's all you need to do in ASN. We can now minimize that and go back to the 777. And this is a good point to get the first weather forecast, in my opinion. It will give you a general idea if the wind on your route has changed, and it also allows the FMC to run a good calculation on the fuel consumption, stuff like that, and you can just quickly see if everything is alright with your briefing. And so let's get the first weather forecast, and we just simply go down and have a look at the CDU. And you can see we're on the takeoff reference page now, and we will go to the legs page, and from the legs page to route data. And this page is empty at this point, but we will do the following, and we will request here the wind data. And this is now triggering the data link and is simulating that it's sending a message to the operator. And as you can see, the message is now sent, and the operator hopefully will soon respond with a data link update for our weather. And obviously we don't have operator here, but we will have ActiveSkyNext giving us the wind data uplink. You can see the message came in, the wind data uplink is ready. We will quickly clear this message, and we will do the load here. You can see this has been replaced by load. When you click on here, it takes about 15 seconds maybe a bit less. You now can see here are all W's and arrows, which mean that wind data on all the following pages, wind data has been received and entered. And if we believe that the wind data is correct, we can also have a look at it. You can see it gives us the wind data for our different altitude levels, it gives us the temperatures, it gives us the speeds, it also gives us some information about temperatures down here. And we believe this data is correct, so we will do the following. We will execute, and now as you can see, the W's are they don't have a white background anymore. You now can see that the computer has taken all into account and is now the CDU, if you do a fuel calculation or something like this, is now taking the weather data into account. And as you can see, then a new message came up, the descent forecast uplink ready, and automatically when you do a wind data request, it will request the descent forecast as well. If you do a route request, it will request the wind data as well, and therefore it will also request the descent forecast. So basically whatever request you do, it will also request the remaining data for the flight. And this message, if we clear it, we won't it will be gone. And many people have said this on forums, that the FMC message up here with the dot in front is present on theirs, but they don't know why. The reason is because if you clear it, it's gone from here, but here it will still be shown. So to fix this, we just go, or not to fix this, but just to find our message, we will go to VNAV, and we go to the next page, and to the next page, and this is the descent page, and you can see here forecast. If you go into there, there's a load already here, and this is because we received the uplink already, and if you want to load it, we can click on this button, wait a few seconds, and here you can see this is the descent forecast right now for our destination airport. And the nice thing about this is we don't have to do anything in ActiveSkyNext. It automatically, the PMDG takes the route I created, I entered. It takes that route and sends that to ActiveSkyNext. ActiveSkyNext will receive that route and do all the stuff you could normally do by hand. It does automatically. It takes the route, enters the flight altitudes, the cruise levels, it enters destination and start airport and all that, and it then sends back the weather data. So with this configuration, you never have to touch ActiveSkyNext. You just have to start it, and everything will be done for you. Just make sure you do a weather forecast before you take off, and then it will be ready to go. And I will just show this you quickly on ActiveSkyNext. Hold on. And here, as you can see, in ActiveSkyNext, the departure, the destination, the cruise altitude, and all that fancy stuff is now entered. And in the list below, you can see some of the first waypoints. And as said again, I didn't import any flight plan. I didn't do anything in ActiveSkyNext. All that has been entered here has been entered by the 777. And also on the next page, on the plan page here in ActiveSkyNext, you can see our flight plan is entered, and the complete route can be displayed, but I didn't do anything. And you might notice at the beginning of our route here in the right hand corner, you can see a bit of a blob with the route going to the wrong direction first, and that's because that's the location of our 3 alternate airports. And why this is there, I will show you next. And on the alternate page, in the CDU, you can see we have 4 alternates here. This is Vienna, and I think Bratislava, and 2 more. And we can also request weather for those, and we'll just do that. And it's requesting. It might take a few seconds. And the request has been sent. And for this one, there is no gong or something like this. It's just as soon as the send disappears, we have received the data. And if you go to, for instance, to the second one here, it has now the wind data for that airport. It's at 6,000 feet, it's 13 degrees. The wind is 022 at 9 knots. And if you go to the other airport here, it has the wind at 078 and 15 knots. And at 12,000 feet it is 0 degrees. And that data is taken exactly from ASN as well. And this is all done automatically. So this is a very nice feature, and it's very useful, especially for long-range flights. And with ASN, the weather updates, the weather forecasts you can receive onto your CDU, they update throughout the flight. So if you go ahead and do the famous 18-hour-long 777 flights and your flight, and you go ahead and request the weather update every hour, it will change every hour and reflect the actual weather changes. And this is a very great feature, nice to have. So hope you liked this video, and thank you very much for your patience.